guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, apologies for the probably bad quality. It's pretty dark outside and I just imagine that it's terrible quality, so sorry if it is. But today I'm here with my top tips for saving time at Disney World. So I've previously done one of these which has been top money saving tips, so I will link that down below and you can check that out after this video if you would like to. But today it's all about saving time at Disney World, because time at Disney is precious. There are so many things to do, and I think to have the most enjoyable holiday you want to do the most amount of things. And granted, you're not going to get to do everything, but it's nice to try and get in as much as you possibly can. So hopefully some of my tips will help you save just that little bit of time, whether it's like a few hours or a few minutes. And these are just personally things that I've found have saved time for me. A couple of them I have heard from other people, but obviously people can do their Disney holidays completely different. If you disagree with me on any of these tips, that is perfectly fine, but these are just things that I think work for saving time in Disney World. Also, leave a comment letting me know what your favourite time saving tip is, especially if I haven't mentioned it. Let everyone know. So I'm going to start off with the most obvious time saving tip, and this is to book fast passes. Pretty self-explanatory. You can just skip 3 queues per day and then you can obviously book more after, but I will link as well the fast pass video that I have done, so you can learn all about fast passes in there and what fast passes I would also recommend as well. Along with that, booking ADRs will help save a little bit of time. It will save you going around trying to find restaurants with bookings, and if restaurants do have bookings, chances are you'll have to wait quite a while for them to open. Not all the time, even if you do book you will wait sometimes, but it just makes it a lot easier to book ADRs. The final pretty obvious one, I guess, is to kind of look at the time of year that you would like to go to Disney. And this saves time because mainly if you can go in off-peak season there will be shorter queues, whereas if you go in like school holidays there will be massive queues. And obviously I know for some people that's not possible. If you have kids or you have to go in summer holidays or any sort of school holiday, then you'll have to, but if you can go out of term time, that is the best, because you're going to have fewer queues. September, October time when we go, well, we've only been in September, but we're going September, October this year, shorter queues, it's so much more bearable. But if you do have to stick to summer holidays, particularly if you're in the UK, go as far to the end of August as you possibly can, because towards the end of August it gets so much emptier and I would 100% recommend it. My next tip is to get to the parks as early as you possibly can. And I know some people like lions, have a lion if you want. If that's how you like to do your Disney holidays, that's perfectly fine. But that first hour that you get into the park, I mean, when you first get into that park, no one else is in there, whether you're going for extra magic hours or just regular opening without the extra magic hours on there. That first ride is going to have no queue, or a very short queue. If it's like Avatar Flight of Passage, I think everyone's probably rushing to that at the moment, so that will probably have a queue first thing in the morning. But most rides won't have a queue first thing. We went to Magic Kingdom last year on our first day. It was a Sunday. I think in the first hour we did about 6 or 7 rides. So that was pretty incredible. And like going to Hollywood Studios, we did Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror in the first like 20 minutes. So get there as early as you can and you will get on those rides that get massive queues later in the day. Talking about park opening, don't go to PhotoPass photographers first thing. Whilst everyone else is rushing to go to their rides, if you're stopping and waiting to get your photo taken in front of the castle, queues will start building up. And I mean, I know I said before that we managed to get on quite a few rides in the first hour. We do go off peak. This is particularly important, I think, if you're going on peak season. Don't stop for PhotoPass photographers. You will have so much chance to go back to them. You can have a picture in front of the castle in the afternoon, in the evening. It doesn't have to be first thing. Remember that the first thing you do, it will have no queue. So don't stop for PhotoPass photographers. Also, don't go on the first ride that you come to. I think it's always good to have an idea what ride you want to go to first. Do you not have a fast pass for it? Does it get massive queues? Go to that one. I guess this is more relevant to Epcot. Basically, don't go on Spaceship Earth when you walk in, because Spaceship Earth gets a massive queue in the morning, because it's the first ride that you come to. A lot of people head straight to it because they're like, oh, a ride, let's go on this. Massive queue. By the time it's midday, afternoon, whatever time, there is absolutely no queue usually, at least when we go for Spaceship Earth, so do not waste that time to go onto Spaceship Earth. Head either to Test Track, Soarin' or Frozen, because those are the ones that get massive queues and you can only get one fast pass between the 3 of them. Also, speaking of rides, if you're up for it, go into the single rider queue. Now, not all rides have this, and we personally don't do this just because we like to experience it together, but if you're up for this, then it will save you a massive amount of time queuing. So rides that have this are like Test Track, Expedition Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster. Like, those are rides that get pretty big queues, so if you don't want to wait in like a 40-minute queue or however long it is, even if it's like 10 minutes, it's going to be so much quicker going into the single rider line, so definitely consider that if you are up for that. I'm going to talk about food now, how to save time when you want to eat. This is mainly to do with quick service meals. It is all to do with quick service meals actually. My biggest tip, and something that we did all the time last year, is to eat lunch early, and even dinner, like eat off peak. We tried to eat lunch at about 11:30 most days when we had a quick service lunch. There's no queues, it's so easy to find a table, whereas if you wait till even just half an hour later at 12, there's going to be a significantly larger queue, it's going to be harder to find a table, everything is just going to be a lot more crowded, whereas it's nice to get in there a bit earlier. I mean, if you've had like a big breakfast, then probably don't, but if you're not eating breakfast, or you're having a very light breakfast, have lunch early. And with dinner, I guess, have dinner late. I read somewhere that 8 o'clock is a good time to have dinner in Disney World. A lot of people don't tend to eat around that time, so definitely consider dinner at 8, lunch at 11:30. But obviously you can eat whenever you want, really. Or another thing that you can do for quick service now is something that's been very recently introduced to Disney, and this isn't available at all quick service locations, it's just available at a select few, but now you can actually pre-order your food. So this started with the Satterlee Canteen in the Avatar world in Animal Kingdom, and they've expanded it. I think there's about 4 quick service restaurants in Animal Kingdom. I think there's like 2 or something like that in Hollywood Studios. These numbers could be completely wrong. I don't think they have any round the world showcase, but I do believe they have 1 in Epcot. Magic Kingdom, I think there's about 3 or 4 as well. But you can pre-order your food, and then I think you just press something to say like, yeah, I'm here, and you could even be at the other side of the park, and they'll make your food, they'll let you know when it's ready on the app. This is all on the My Disney Experience app, and then you can just go up and collect it, so that makes it a lot easier. But one thing with that, you cannot use dining plans, you cannot use cash, you have to use a card to pay for it. That is obviously something that could change very soon, and I hope it does, because it would be really useful if they do it with dining plans when we go, but you can only do that with card. But it would definitely save a lot of time queuing up. Speaking of food, I wanted to mention something about food and wine. Now, we have never done food and wine, so I can't be like 100% certain on this, but from what I've heard from a lot of people, this is the way to go about it. So if you can, and generally if you're on holiday in Disney World, you can try and go to Food and Wine Festival as early as you can on a weekday. Weekends and evenings are apparently when all of the locals kind of come in, and it gets much more crowded, and I've seen a lot of videos when people have gone first thing when it's open and it's been so quiet, and then you watch like a weekend video of it and it's chaotic. So that will definitely help save a lot of time, like queuing up for food, and it would just be nice not to be so hectic, I guess. So we're definitely going to take that into account this year. And I guess the same would also be with Flower and Garden Festival as well, I guess, because they do have some food there. It would be the same sort of thing. Going on to another event, I wanted to talk about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Now, we did this last year, and the thing that I want to talk about in terms of saving time is trick-or-treating in the Magic Kingdom. So if you want to do trick-or-treating around the Magic Kingdom, they usually have about 14-15 stops around the park. Go as late as you can. Not like, well, I mean, don't start like at 11:30 when there's like 30 minutes left. The queues for candy are pretty much, from what we found, non-existent after the fireworks, to be fair. Even before then, they weren't that bad. They were very minimal or non-existent. Probably actually after about 9. 8:30, 9ish. First thing, 7 o'clock when you go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, everyone goes to the candy. I cannot tell you how long the queues were for the candy first thing. And then you go to the same stop at like 11 at night. You just walk on and then you go around again because you want more candy, and then you go around again because you want more candy. But you can spend more of that time towards the start of the event, meeting characters or going on rides. Also make time to watch the parade, fireworks, some of the shows, well, the Hocus Pocus show that they have on. It's definitely much more useful for that. And then towards the end, kind of think about doing trick-or-treating because the queues just aren't there, which is great. And you can get so much more candy that way. You can just go round and round and round each stop, and it's so amazing. And it's getting darker and I'm really annoyed about it. My second to last tip is for those of you that will have a car and that will be driving around Disney World. My tip for you, if you're staying on site, is to not drive to the Magic Kingdom. And I'm sure those of you who have been there before will know why. But if you drive to the Magic Kingdom, you need to park in the Magic Kingdom car park, and then you either need to get the monorail or the ferry around to the front of the Magic Kingdom. If you get the bus to the Magic Kingdom, it will drop you off right at the entry. You won't need to take a monorail, you won't need to take a ferry, you walk like 50 meters, if that sometimes. It's just a lot more convenient. The buses run like every 20 minutes or so, sometimes more, sometimes less, but average 20 minutes, and it's just a lot quicker that way. And the final tip, which is also I think a pretty obvious one, I mean it's probably obvious for those of us that have gone before, but use crowd calendars. I will link some of my favourite ones down below, but all they do is they just tell you how busy they expect the parks to be based on, I guess, past figures and crowd levels. We find those really, really useful and we use those quite a bit. They just help you kind of understand like which parks aren't going to be like heaving and having like hours and hours and hours upon hours of queues. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some useful tips that you can use on your next Disney trip, and yeah, hopefully you can save some time as well doing some of these things, and if not, then I'm sorry this didn't help you. But if you did enjoy it, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe as well, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!